Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of Unfiltered Findings. In today's episode, I'm going to cover Therianthropy. I'm going to be covering facts, decipher whether information is true or not, talk about the science behind it, go through some kind of vocabulary. Before we get into it, I want to say a big thank you to all of my subscribers. I love and appreciate every one of you, and if you enjoy my content, please feel free to like and subscribe. If you know someone else who would enjoy my content, please share my channel with them. I'm trying to get 50 subscribers right now so I can start doing live streams for you guys. Alright, let's get into it. You may have heard the term Therian before, Therian, and you may have also heard it associated with furries. While Therians and furries are often mentioned together and are part of the same broader community, they are not the same thing. Some people are both Therians and furries, but many are only one or the other. Therianthropy is about identifying as a non-human animal on a psychological, spiritual, or personal level, rather than physically believing you are an animal. In contrast, being a furry is a hobby or fandom centered around enjoying anthropomorphic animal characters in art, stories, costumes, games, and other forms of media. Understanding this distinction is important between the two communities because the two communities have different meanings and experience even though they overlap. As mentioned earlier, a Therian is someone who identifies as a non-human animal on a non-physical level. This identification can be spiritual, psychological, emotional, or a combination of these, and it is typically experienced as a deep and genuine part of who they are. However, Therians are fully aware that they are physically human and will remain human. A common misconception is that Therians believe they are physically animals or think that they have things like wings, tails, paws, or other animal features, or that they believe they can literally become animals. In reality, these ideas do not represent what Therianthropy is, and most Therians very clearly understand the difference between their identity and their biology. Although the experience of being a Therian can be difficult for someone to understand, that does not make it any less real or meaningful to those who experience it. Being a Therian is not wrong, and it is not invalid for someone to understand and describe their own personal identity and experiences. Being a Therian is a deeply personal experience, and no two Therians experience or express their identity in exactly the same way. Every individual's journey and feelings are unique to them. Some Therians are open about their identity and enjoy sharing their experience with others. Others choose to keep it private because they fear judgment, misunderstanding, or negative reactions. No matter how someone expresses their Therian identity, their personal experience is valid and deserving of respect. A stereotype is a specific animal that a Therian identifies with on a non-physical level. You may hear someone say, "Oh, my stereotype is a wolf," or "My stereotype is a mountain goat," to describe the animal they feel most deeply connected to. This connection is often personal and meaningful, shaping how they understand certain aspects of themselves without changing the fact that they are physically human. Many Therians feel a strong bond with their stereotype and may experience shifts in their thoughts, emotions, or behaviors that reflect traits they associate with that animal. Therians express their identity in many different ways depending on their comfort level and the nature of their individual experiences, so no two Therians are exactly alike. Many also enjoy learning about their stereotype's natural behaviors, habitat, instincts, and biology, as doing so can help them better understand and explore their own connection to that animal. Many Therians connect with one another online or in person to share experiences, offer support, and build a sense of community. They may also express their identity through creative outlets such as art, writing, music, photography, or other forms of self-expression. Some Therians, especially younger members of the community, wear accessories like tails, animal masks, ears, or paw gloves that represent their stereotype, and many enjoy making these items by hand. Others may mimic the sounds, body language, or movements of their stereotype, usually in private or around people they trust. Since every Therian's experience is unique, not all Therians choose to express their identity in the same way. Some Therians, not all, experience what are known as shifts, which can help them better understand their stereotype and how they relate to it. For example, a phantom shift is when someone feels a sensation of an animal body part, such as ears, a tail, or wings, even though those features are not physically present. A mental shift, on the other hand, involves temporary changes in thoughts, instincts, emotions, or behaviors that feel more closely aligned with a person's stereotype. These experiences vary from person to person, and not every Therian experiences shifts. An important part of Therianthropy is that a stereotype is discovered through personal experience rather than being chosen, and many Therians view it as an inherent aspect of their identity. Because of this, within the commonly accepted understanding of Therianthropy, someone who simply picks an animal they like to identify with would generally not be considered a Therian, since Therianthropy is an involuntary identity rather than a personal choice. Another common misconception is that Therianthropy is a religion or simply a connection in nature, but neither of these ideas accurately defines what it is. Therianthropy is generally understood as a personal identity or experience rather than a religious belief system, so it does not have universal rules, traditions, or required rituals. Because every Therian's experience is unique, the ways they express or explore their identity can greatly vary from person to person. Some Therians may choose to meditate in nature, study the behavior and biology of their stereotype, or create artwork inspired by the animal they identify with. Others may not do any of these activities at all, and that does not make their experiences any less valid. These practices are simply personal ways that some Therians choose to connect with their identity, not required rituals or religious customs. Another common misconception is that Therians are romantically or sexually attracted to animals, but this is not what Therianthropy means. The term for a person who is sexually attracted to animals is zoophile, which is separate from the Therian community and unrelated to Therianthropy. Sexual activity with animals is illegal in many places and is considered animal abuse because animals cannot give informed consent. The Therian community widely rejects zoophilia and does not consider attraction to animals to be part of being a Therian. If someone claims that being attracted to animals is what makes them a Therian, they are misrepresenting Therianthropy rather than describing what the term actually means. Another common misconception is that Therians use litter boxes, but this is not true. Therians understand that they are physically human and use toilets like anybody else. Therianthropy is about a non-physical identity or connection to an animal, emphasis on non-physical, not acting as though one is physically an animal in everyday life. Claims that all Therians use litter boxes or similar items are based on misinformation and do not reflect the community as a whole. If someone believes they need to use a litter box or similar item because they think they are physically an animal, that is not considered part of Therianthropy and may indicate something unrelated that should be discussed with a trusted adult or a qualified mental health professional. The same goes for eating pet food. Another common myth is that Therians regularly bark, meow, growl, hiss, or bite at other people, but this is not accurate and is not an accurate representation of the community. While some Therians may practice the sounds or movements of their stereotype, they typically do so in private or around trusted friends who are comfortable with it. These behaviors are meant as a form of personal expression or exploration, not as a way to interact with strangers or disrupt others. Most Therians understand the importance of respecting other people's boundaries and behaving appropriately in public. Although some friends within the community may playfully engage in these behaviors together, it is generally not considered appropriate to direct them at people who have not welcomed or expected it. Some people believe that Therianthropy is a mental illness, but that is a common misconception. At this time, Therianthropy is not recognized or classified as a mental disorder by major diagnostic manuals used by mental health professionals. While researchers have studied Therianthropy and continue to learn more about it, there is currently no scientific evidence that simply identifying as a Therian by itself is a mental illness. Like many aspects of human identity and personal experience, Therianthropy can be understood in different ways by different individuals, and more research is still being conducted. Having a Therian identity alone does not meet the criteria for a mental illness and should not automatically be viewed as a sign that someone has a psychological disorder. Some vocabulary words for the Therian community are Therian. A Therian is someone who identifies as a non-human animal on a non-physical level. This identity may be experienced psychologically, spiritually, emotionally, or in another deeply personal way. Although they identify with an animal, Therians understand they are physically human. Theriatype. A theriatype is the animal or sometimes animals that a Therian identifies with on a non-physical level. It represents the species they feel a deep personal connection to as part of their Therian identity. A theriatype is discovered through personal experience rather than being chosen. Polytherian. A Therian who identifies with more than one theriatype. Each stereotype is typically experienced as a genuine and lasting part of their identity rather than something they chose. Just like other Therians, Polytherians understand they are physically human and their identity experience is a non-physical level. Paleotherian. A Paleotherian is a Therian whose stereotype is an extinct animal, such as a dinosaur, saber-toothed cat, or other prehistoric species. Like all Therians, Paleotherians identify with their stereotype on a non-physical level and understand they are physically human. Although extinct stereotypes are less common, they are recognized within the broader Therian community. Furry. A furry is someone who enjoys anthropomorphic animal characters, which are animals with human traits such as talking, walking on two legs, or wearing clothes. Being a furry is a hobby, fandom, or creative interest centered around art, stories, costumes, games, and other forms of media. While some people are both furries and Therians, the two are separate identities and should not be confused. Gear. The accessories that Therians wear, such as clip-on tails, ear headbands, or hats with ears, paw gloves, animal masks, and stuff like that. Quadrobics/quads. The act of running around on all fours to act like your stereotype. A phantom shift is an experience where a Therian feels the sensation of having an animal body part or feature that is not physically present. This may include feeling as though they have features associated with their stereotype, such as ears, a tail, wings, paws, or fins. Phantom shifts are experienced differently by each person and are not a physical transformation, but rather a personal sensory experience. Mental shift. A mental shift is an experience where a Therian feels temporary changes in their thoughts, emotions, instincts, or behaviors that they associate with their stereotype. During a mental shift, someone may feel more connected to the mindset or traits that they relate to their animal identity. Mental shifts are different for everyone and do not mean that a Therian believes they are physically becoming an animal. Vocals. The act of mimicking the sounds of a Therian stereotype. Examples include barking, growling, meowing, cawing like a bird, or howling. The Therian community is a welcoming and diverse community filled with creativity, friendship, self-expression, love, and support. Many Therians find comfort in connecting with others who share similar experiences and understand their unique perspectives. The community provides a space where people can explore their identities, share their stories, and celebrate their individuality. Through art, writing, conversations, and other creative activities, Therians often express themselves in meaningful and personal ways. Overall, the Therian community can be a place of connection, acceptance, and adventure for those who are part of it. I have a future video planned about my advice for running a YouTube channel inspired by a viewer's request. A special thank you to @Iam_such_a_diva_bro for the suggestion. Although they originally asked for a tutorial on the editing app I use, I decided to expand the idea into a video with tips on managing and growing a channel. I hope the video will be helpful for anyone interested in creating content or improving their own YouTube channel. After this episode is uploaded, I will post a poll featuring 5 different topic ideas. You can vote for the ones you are interested in the most. The 2 topics that receive the highest number of votes will be added to my upcoming podcast schedule. I'm excited to let you help me decide what I cover next. I do have plans to create a Minecraft video, actually a couple Minecraft videos, and it is something I am excited to work on. However, I do not currently have a confirmed release date or specific time frame for when it will be available. Please be patient and stay tuned for the updates as I continue working on it. Thank you all so much for listening and for supporting my content. I am working toward reaching 50 subscribers so I can start doing live streams. Be sure to participate in the poll on my Instagram at dog.lover03212 or my TikTok at dog.lover0312 to help choose future topics. If you have any requests, suggestions, or ideas for content, feel free to share them with me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you enjoy my content, and thank you again for all of your support.